Let's say the unthinkable happens. China launches a direct attack in the West Philippine Sea, tensions boil over, and suddenly, the Philippines, a nation of 7,641 islands, is thrust into the center of a geopolitical storm. Who shows up? Who stands by the Filipino people? Today, we're diving into the 10 countries most likely to defend the Philippines if China ever goes too far. Some might surprise you, some are already quietly preparing, and some would risk it all. 1. The United States bound by blood and treaty. Let's start with the most obvious. The United States and the Philippines are not just allies, they're bound by a 1951 mutual defense treaty. That means if one is attacked, the other must act. And recently, that alliance got sharper. In 2023, the US gained expanded military access to Philippine bases, including locations near Taiwan and the South China Sea. Joint patrols, military drills, and intelligence sharing have all ramped up. But this goes deeper than paperwork. Over 4 million Filipino Americans live in the US. Filipino nurses serve in American hospitals. Filipino soldiers serve in the US military. If China ever made a move, America wouldn't just send ships and jets. It would answer the call, because family defends family. Now this one may surprise you. Japan has no army in the traditional sense, just the self-defense forces. But Japan has been rearming quietly, and it now considers the Philippines part of its strategic front line against aggression in the Pacific. In 2023, Japan signed a defense pact allowing joint military training on Philippine soil, and Japan has pledged billions in maritime security aid, including patrol vessels, radar systems, and Coast Guard training. But more importantly, Japan knows the cost of war. They want peace, and they know defending the Philippines helps stabilize the entire Indo-Pacific region. Australia may be far south, but its commitment to the Philippines is clear. The two nations conduct regular war games under Exercise Alon, and in 2023 Australia became the first country, other than the United States, to join joint Philippine maritime patrols. Why? Because China's aggression doesn't stop at one country. Australia knows that what happens in the Philippines affects trade routes, global stability, and peace in the region. If things escalate, expect Australian forces to back their words with action. They're not just allies, they're already in the water, side by side with Filipino ships. South Korea doesn't talk much about its military plans, but, make no mistake, it's watching. In recent years, South Korea has deepened ties with the Philippines through military aid weapon sales and naval cooperation. They've delivered fighter jets and frigates, they've trained together, they've signed defense deals worth billions. But there's also gratitude. During the Korean War, Filipino soldiers helped defend South Korea, and South Korea remembers. If war came to the Philippines, expect Seoul to return that loyalty, quietly but powerfully. Vietnam knows what it's like to face off with China. They've clashed in the South China Sea, they've fought bloody wars, and like the Philippines, Vietnam opposes China's vast territorial claims. While Vietnam is not a formal ally of the Philippines, the two nations have quietly drawn closer. They've pledged mutual support to uphold maritime laws. They've even conducted Coast Guard coordination. In a regional conflict, Vietnam would likely not fight for the Philippines, but with them. As neighbors, they understand that divided, they fall. United, they stand a chance. So France, the surprise ally. Why France? Because, France still has Pacific territories. It actually has military bases in French Polynesia and New Caledonia. Plus, it conducts regular naval patrols in the South China Sea. And it has declared publicly, "We will defend international law, especially in the Indo-Pacific." In 2023, France joined military exercises with the Philippines. Its naval ships even docked in Subic Bay. And French diplomats warned China to respect maritime rules. France may not have the size of the United States, but its presence is strategic. And honestly, it's growing. India and the Philippines have no formal military alliance. But, they have something else, a shared concern about China's rise. India is already selling BrahMos missiles to the Philippines, which are, by the way, some of the world's fastest supersonic cruise missiles. They've signed defense logistics deals, and they're exploring naval partnerships too. India sees the Indo-Pacific as a space it must help stabilize. If war broke out, India would likely offer diplomatic, logistical, and possibly even military support. Because honestly, defending the Philippines is a way to keep China in check. The United Kingdom isn't just watching from afar, it's back in the Indo-Pacific. In recent years, British warships have joined United States and Philippine forces in freedom of navigation operations. The Royal Navy has docked in Manila, and the United Kingdom's Global Britain strategy includes standing up to authoritarian threats. Like France, the United Kingdom values international law. And like the United States, it shares deep ties with its former colony, the Philippines. Expect intelligence sharing, cyber support, and possibly naval deployments if war escalates. Canada doesn't boast about its military strength, but it's part of the Five Eyes Intelligence Alliance, and, it really values human rights and democracy in Southeast Asia. In 2024, Canada signed new defense cooperation agreements with the Philippines. It has also trained Filipino soldiers and invested in humanitarian efforts across the islands. In a crisis, Canada wouldn't be the first to strike, but it would support, through intelligence, aid, and possibly peacekeeping forces post-conflict. Its role may be quiet, but it would show up. Finally, we have the other ASEAN nations: Indonesia, Malaysia, Singapore, and beyond. While ASEAN isn't a military alliance, its members have growing concerns about China's actions in the South China Sea. Indonesia has clashed with Chinese vessels, Malaysia has protested illegal incursions, and Singapore, though neutral, has deep United States and regional ties. If China attacked the Philippines outright, it would likely trigger a regional reckoning. Don't expect jets from every ASEAN country, but do expect diplomatic isolation for China, and coordinated pressure. In short, China wouldn't just be fighting the Philippines, it would be challenging an entire region. The real question is, would anyone really risk war for the Philippines? Here's the honest truth. Nobody wants war. Not the Philippines, not its allies, not even China. But if aggression crosses the line, if lives are lost and sovereignty is violated, then yes, many would step in. Because this isn't just about islands or maps, it's about principle. It's about standing up for the small, the peaceful, the lawful. And it's about choosing community over conquest. And don't forget, the Philippines isn't waiting to be rescued. Filipino soldiers are some of the most resilient in Asia. The people are proud, determined, and ready to defend their homeland. From Coast Guard cadets to volunteer militias, there's no shortage of bravery. And if allies show up, the Philippines won't hide behind them, it will stand beside them. Because when you defend the Philippines, you're not just protecting territory, you're protecting a culture of kindness, a people of unmatched generosity, a democracy that still believes in hope. Closing thoughts. And here's the final message to the world. If China ever makes a move, it will not be a one-sided fight. The world is watching, and the Philippines is not alone. 10 countries, and likely more, would rise. Some with weapons, some with aid, all with principle. The question now isn't just who would defend the Philippines, it's whether the world is ready to defend peace before it's too late. So, if you're Filipino, know this: your country may be small, but your allies, they are mighty, and your spirit, unbreakable.